Hello, and welcome to the Warrior Shrine Podcast, the show where we talk about the lore of gameplay, the drama that we see within the matches and without, online and offline, on the couch and at the tournament, ranked and unranked, casual and competitive, Scorpion and Sub-Zero. All of these lifestyle choices are welcome here in the Shrine. I'm Django, keeper of the statues, and with me as always is Timp, the true master. What's up, Timp?
What's up?
He's typing and clicking. But no, it means something. It means that he cares.
Trying to find a picture of this dog. It looks like infiltration in the Street Fighter community.
Listen, I'm pretty sure that's 70% of the internet all the time.
Yeah, or I'd say 30% maybe. I think the cats are still dominating the internet's
Forgot about cats.
meme territory.
All right, I'm gonna say there's 40 to 45% everyone searching for images of pets, and then there's another percentage of people searching for images of porn. And then there's another percentage of people listening to this podcast right now. We have some stuff to talk about, and it's going to be hype. I'm sick. Don't let it fucking misrepresent. Everything's great. Temp is in rare form. He was doing some magical farming earlier. He's feeling much more centered because of it.
I'm very relaxed.
Unlike usual, where you're usually just fucking flipping tables. It's just, I'm glad you're chilled out.
I can do that too. I mean, there's stuff to flip tables over. There's some stuff that there's the good, the bad, and the ugly over the past few
Timp
weeks.
actually hates things. It's rare that it comes up, but don't let him fool you. He doesn't like shit. But let's be slightly timely. Let's talk about final round.
Final round was I really enjoyed it. It was a great tournament, but I don't know. There's some historical shit that went down, good and bad, in Sonic Fox and Goichi. And there was a lot of shit talk. 2 layers of shit talk. Some between Sonic Fox and Goichi. They were talking mad shit. I
got a slight dropout on your end, but we're good.
Oh.
I only missed a couple words, I think.
Yeah, just a lot of community rivalry going on with that. And a lot of people said Sonic Fox was going to take it for free. And a lot of other people saying, no, Goichi's going to take it for free. And there's sort of this ongoing narrative that if Sonic Fox had non-NRS competition, he would not be nearly as good. That is a very, very old narrative. And Sonic Fox didn't do so hot in the first to 10, so all the bigots are coming out of the woodwork and talking shit about NetherRealm players and just Sonic Fox, and which is stupid. If you look at the final round results, he bodies some really good Japanese players. But that's not what people are going to remember. People are going to remember Goichi beating Sonic Fox 10-4, which is really bad. I mean, it doesn't sound bad, but it's worse than it sounds because I think he took the last 6 games in a row. Sonic Fox got downloaded so bad. I still think he's one of the best players in the world, uncontroversially. But I really wish he had won that set. I really, really was hoping that we could dispel a lot of myths this weekend. And sort of the exact opposite happened, so... Yeah, what can you do, right? What can you do?
Well, not the exact opposite. Because he's still performing very well. Like, maybe not in the first to 10 fucking, measuring contests. Especially in games that he might not be as familiar with. He might not be fucking, breastfed on Dragon Ball like he was in NRS games. And that's fine. Fucking give him a year and a couple extra Adderall a day, and I'm sure he'll be fine.
I don't know if it's even that, though, because he went to winners finals undisputed. Like, he fucking... No, grand finals, actually. He was in grand finals on winner's side.
In Dragon Ball.
Yeah, he 3-0'd Dogura.
Right, and that's
not a jobber. He's a really good fucking Japanese anime player. Like, he's really
That's
fucking
exactly
good.
What I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's like, listen, first to 10s are for, fucking Perfect Legends. He did very well in tournament, it sounds like, right?
Oh, well, yeah, and honestly, if that first to 10 had been a first to 2, he would have taken it. It would have been his set, but it kept going, and he just got fucking, downloaded so badly.
Which, it happens, and is one of the best parts, I think, of fucking fighting games. Because if you start out with some bullshit, that doesn't mean that it's going to keep working for you. And the best players won't let it keep working for you. But then the worst players will get 13-0'd. Man, no, he's doing way too good for anyone to be like, oh, it's just NRS games. Like, shut the fuck up. I saw what he did in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Like... Shut up. He's really good. He's really fucking good. I don't like that he's good. I said this in... I was shit posting it earlier. Like, Sonic Fox doing well is not entertaining to me. We've just seen it a billion times. It's not hype. There's nothing interesting going on.
I'd agree.
Oh, Sonic Fox is winning. Cool. Sonic Fox doing well everywhere is still not hype. I don't want Sonic Fox doing well everywhere because, you know, I might want to watch like a Street Fighter V Grand Finals. I might want to watch a Tekken Grand Finals. I might want to watch a Dragon Ball Grand Finals. I don't want Sonic Fox taking a shit on all of them for me. Like, I want... My point here is I'm not rooting for Sonic Fox. I'm not wanting Sonic Fox to win, but I'm also not cool with people being like, hey, you know, he clearly sucks because he got beat a few times. Like, that's not how that works.
Yeah,
no,
well,
he's very good.
I kind of want other communities to know the pain we know. I want other communities to be bored because Sonic Fox keeps bodying their favorite players. I think that would have been a good day for me, I guess.
No, I definitely I get that, and if nothing else, that does shut up the the stupid it's a NRS game, so it's fucking anyone can do that. Like, it's cute. I get the joke. It's funny. Smash players are shitty children that sexually harass each other or some shit. It's funny. We talk about this. These are great jokes. I enjoy them all to different degrees, but to pretty high degrees usually. But the Sonic Fox one is like, listen, he didn't actually, like, there was no sexual harassment. He's actually really good. He's really good all the time, and he gets beaten sometimes. He gets beaten in NRS games. When was the last time he won an Evo at NRS game?
Well, I won in 2016, right? I mean, I can't remember for sure, but I'm sure he won something in 2016.
Did he? Like, I think he probably did win the first Injustice 2 Evo. Maybe. I don't know, though. Because we had all the fun blow-ups that everyone dug. We had the Scarecrows, and we had the Flash. Everyone loved the Flash with, all this shit. So I don't know. That's a good question. Anyway, he's not like, fucking unstoppable. He's been stopped. I've actually thought he had an Evo slump for a while.
No, because I remember, I think 2016 was Sonic Fox versus, what's his name? He played as Atrocitus and, he played Kotal. It was his Kotal versus, Sonic Fox's Alien. And he was doing so good that Sonic Fox had to take off his blue furry helmet and then he made the comeback. But, why can't I? Tekken Master. Yeah, of course I'm not going to remember that. Tekken Master. Yes. So yeah, that was 2016. That was a really...
But then there was the...
Yeah, so he had 1 year off. Just Evo. Dragon took it for 2017.
Dragon. That's that guy's name. Anyway, he's beatable. That's the point. He did get beaten by either a Batman or a Scarecrow at some point at some tournament, though, right? at some major.
Well, I know at Evo 2017, Honeybee knocked him into losers, so that was sick.
Was that the Flash?
Yep.
Or was Tekken Master the Flash?
Oh no, Honeybee was the Flash. Tekken Master was the Kotal in 2016.
Boy, I thought Tekken Master did something else in Injustice.
He did. He was a really good Atrocitus player, and I know he was at the league tournaments they had this past fall. He was doing well in that. He made it pretty far in that too. Sonic Fox actually did not take that. Like, I think he got eliminated not early, but like I don't think he made it into the top 4. I don't think he did.
Yes, that sounds right. Man, remember fucking MKX and that Raiden player got him at Combo Breaker? What was that guy's name? I feel like a shit.
Oh yeah, Dizzy.
Dizzy, that was so fucking hype. Just pizza shopping that motherfucker all day.
It was hype, and then we never saw him again. Like, he just vanished.
Maybe he got picked up by NetherRealm on the slide. He was in Chicago. Maybe there's some collusion going on behind the scenes. Hey, your Raiden is too Raiden-y. We're gonna acquire you.
I'm wondering too, was it...
I'm making this up.
I know. I think he is actually affiliated with NetherRealm in some way. I don't know if he's a tester or not. I don't know what he does these days, but I know he was one of the testers from KX. I know that, but...
And we do know they kind of do, cannibalize professional players to a degree.
In good and bad ways. I do miss 16-bit playing the game. I like him playing the game a lot better than I like him talking about new characters on the Twitch stream. I miss him playing sets. Like, not that he's not great with Tyler and friends, but I really miss 60-bit being fucking competitive.
Man, they should just change the name of that to Tyler and Friends.
Get a theme song and everything.
I'd watch that. That sounds fucking sick. You can have that, you know, it sounds like some big comfy couch shit. They need a big comfy couch on those streams.
I can't remember their couch. Is their couch not comfy? I have
it's just you can't see it behind and under those guys. So
yeah,
you know,
that's true, yeah.
It can't be too big or too comfy, I have to imagine. Like I feel like it's intentionally designed to be minimal. So all the focus is on Tyler and or Friends and the video game.
Yeah, well, those days are coming up, dude. We got a lot of Tyler and couches coming up in this June and beyond, so that'll be interesting. We're almost there.
I hope so. I hope we can talk about though. We can talk about that though. We got some Mortal Kombat questions inbound, but what else is there to say about Final Round? Besides, Sonic Fox is not a bitch.
Yeah, well,
he's kind of a bitch, but
it's not that he's a bitch. I just feel like we're in the next era, which is the twilight of the gods. Unfortunately, other than Smash, no community really has gods anymore. Like back in SF4, you knew who the Undisputables were, and they were strong. And when you take them down, it was a big deal. Like now, when Momochi loses, no one gives a shit. That's a big problem to me. I think I miss those days where we had the heavyweights, and I feel like it's anyone's game, and that is just not nearly as interesting to me anymore. We had Street Fighter 4 had so many great players. They had a whole league of gods. While meanwhile, the NetherRealm community, we don't hang with those pagans. We're monotheists. We only have the one true god, and that was Sonic Fox, and that was it. We lost our one god. So I don't know. I feel like that's a sad end to an era, and I feel like it kind of withered. I wish it had gone out with a bang, but
wait, are you sad that Sonic Fox isn't winning everything?
I think he's still going to win everything, though. I think it's a lose-lose. I still think he's going to be a dominant force, but
he's definitely going to be a dominant force.
I don't know. It's going to be Sonic Fox and like clutch upsets that aren't going to go anywhere. Like Honeybee, let's face it, hasn't really been relevant for a while. At least, granted, I should qualify that with I have not watched competitive Injustice. And that actually reminds me. Here's a blow up for Final Round. Even though Final Round went relatively well, what the fuck is up with putting Guilty Gear, Injustice 2, and Marvel all at the same time for top 8 in the fucking morning? What the fuck? Like, I missed half a Dragon Ball because I overslept, but yeah, I was really pissed about that. Overall, good tournament, but God. Also, the schedule was wrong. They said it was 2:30 for Dragon Ball. I'm like in my bed just because I work nights, so I'm in my bed just looking at my phone, saying, "Hey, I wonder what the score was for Injustice or whatever." And I see like half of the top 8's already done for Dragon Ball. So I'm like, son of a bitch. So that was also really disappointing, but whatever. I mean, overall, good shit. This is the first time I've been able to watch Final Round live in a very long time. I think like I haven't been able to do it in like the last 3 years or so. So,
and boy, have you been missing it. Just Final Round, man, it's just on the tip of everyone's tongues. We're like, man, what's one of the majors that you really like?
Wasn't always like that. It used to be Final Round was like, to me, like Final Round 2012 is the birth of high-level fucking MK9. That's when everyone finally stopped jumping. That was when it all started. And it was, we got to see, like, Johnny Cage really in action. We got to see how strong that character really was. All the New York guys were there. The Chicago guys were there. That was just a great tournament. We had the 5v5 with a 16 Bits team. And then CD Junior's team and 16 Bits team got fucking bodied. And, God, that was the birth of high-level MK9 to me. And then Final Round was never really the same after that. I don't know why. I don't know what the politics are behind that, but yeah, that's just interesting to me.
It sounds like scheduling sucks. That's a problem.
And apparently, like, air conditioning and seating is a problem too. Like, I think Eris was saying, like, going to like brushing up against people. So I don't know. That the venue probably was an issue, but I've heard good things this year. So I mean, for as recent as it is, I don't know.
Boy, yeah. But I'm hearing in a lot of my fun, I'm a dick. A lot of the fun things I'm hearing about fucking Final Round is people crying. Who was crying?
It wasn't Sonic Fox. Was pre-Final Round. What happened is they had a first of 10 between Daigo and Tokido. And Daigo's track record for first of 10 is like flawless. Like he may suck in tournament these days. That's not true, but he may underperform in tournament these days. But first to 10, he's got everyone's fucking number right in his smartphone, dude. Doesn't give a shit. And it was 5-10, and Daigo took it pretty convincingly. And it was all in Japanese, by the way. There was no American stream for this. You had to, stay until 3 a.m. to watch the Japanese stream, which I did. And Tokido just started crying. Like, he was doing, like, the man cry. Like, he was shedding exactly one tear over and over again while he was looking down, all brooding and shit. It was tight. I thought it would make for some great memes, but that didn't happen. Instead, everyone just got into a big internet Twitter argument about whether it's okay to cry or not. And that's not fucking fun. That's not cool. So, but yeah, I thought it was sick, dude. It shows that Tokido won Evo, and now he fucking started the brand new tournament season by getting bodied by fucking Daigo, who, although he's been playing well, I mean, he's been placing, he's been getting top 8s, but he just can't fucking close the shop these days. He cannot get that first place for whatever reason. So yeah, that was sad. I don't know. I don't have strong feelings on tears. But
not tier list.
No, yeah, no, it's
the other ones.
Well, no, fucking like, but those Tokido was fucking, those tears were A tier, S tier tears. They were good shit. I was a fan. I like Tokido a lot. I think I miss Murderface Tokido. I kind of dislike how he's chilled out so much, and he's like such a nice guy now. I think I miss the old days where the Japanese guys didn't really know the American guys too well, and the American guys didn't know the Japanese guys too well, and Tokido was just like this fucking like grim, frowning asshole who bodied everyone with Street Fighter 4 Akuma. Like, true story, one of the coolest things before like Justin TV, before fucking Twitch, like Tokido was doing a stream, and he bodied some guy on the big like projector. And as the Raging Demon was going down, he ran in front of the projector and did the fucking projector. He ran in front of the projector and did the Akuma wind pose with a symbol on his back as it projected onto his back instead of the screen. That was so fucking tight. Like, that was the coolest shit. You don't see that anymore.
No, that would be really, really fucking tight.
Yeah, so...
And now he's just crying.
I mean, he's allowed to cry. But if there's any players that are allowed to cry, it's fucking... It's Tokido. It's those two, at least. They have my permission.
No, they don't. No. Stop it. Well, if you're gonna do it, at least fucking go run up and do it in front of the projector. You feel the tears coming on, man. Just remember that you're here to put on a show. Go run over there in front of that projector and have the fucking demon project onto your crying face. And boy, you're gonna get blow-ups. You're gonna get like the good kind of blow-ups. You're gonna be on everyone's memes. Everyone's gonna be talking about you. There's no such thing as bad PR, I've heard, or something. So, fucking do it. I just don't even... That sounds tight. I don't know why it's a big deal now, because when Chris G started crying after his Sakura lost in, like, what, top 16, like 3 years ago? Like, it was... People laughed for a while, and we all forgot about it. It's weird that this is making such huge ripples. For a stream that I remember fucking shit about Chris G crying. What? Who made him cry?
Oh, this was a long time ago. He started crying. He was playing Street Fighter 4. I think it was top 8. And honestly, like, I miss Street Fighter 4 Chris G so much. His Sakura was so fucking awesome. But, yeah, he started tearing up after his set. And I feel bad for that guy because, like, he was doing... I don't know, the execution shit in Street Fighter 4 was very hit and miss. Like, a lot of the real execution players never really did so well. But he was doing all these cool one-frames with Sakura. And, yeah, I don't remember who bodied him. It's been so long, but... I mean, he also rage-quitted one time during a tournament set. That was crazy. Chris G's an emotional dude, and I love it. It's cool. I love all that stuff. I feel like a lot of stuff is going away. I feel like esports is sterilizing a lot of the spontaneity of just what the FGC is, and I don't know. I think it's dumb, but
I think that's one of the questions we have lined up for the question.
That's a good question. I look forward to answering that.
What else is there to say about Final Round?
For Final Round itself, all I can say is DBZF is such a good game, and it beat Street Fighter 4 in terms of Evo entrance. It's not Street Fighter. I'm sorry, 5. Street Fighter 5 is, for the first time I think ever, is not the highest entered game. It's Dragon Ball FighterZ. So this might be the new shit. Street Fighter 5 may have permanently lost its place if it keeps the momentum going, or if Dragon Ball keeps the momentum going. Although, wait, no, I think that Smash may have had more entrants. I could be wrong. Melee may have had more entrants.
Don't you fucking underestimate Smash or ever forget them ever again. It's Smash, dude. Which I forgot to say at the top of the show, is coming to the Switch.
Oh shit, that wasn't even on my list. I forgot about that. Fucking squid people.
That is incredibly important. You can now play. You're going to be able to play Smash on none of the systems that you own, but you know, if you do own a Switch for some reason, okay, you're gonna be able to play fucking Smash. It's cool. Chill out. There's gonna be fucking Mega Man and all that shit. I'm hyped. I'm gonna go practice.
I'm not excited. I mean, you know, it's funny I say that because I loved Smash back in the day. I played the shit out of Melee, and that goes double for Brawl. And Brawl's like the worst Smash ever made. I played the shit out of it. In a way, like when all the competitive stuff was in a lull, like Smash was all we had. So I still liked the game. I honestly, like back then, I didn't know what competitive Smash was, and I still have never been able to play the game at high level.
What is competitive Smash?
It's a lot of.
Is that a real thing?
Oh, it's real. It's a lot of wave dashing, a lot of edge guarding. It's actually pretty tight. The stuff those guys do from a mobility is just absolutely insane. Like I would say I'm impressed with them, but I think it's boring as shit. Smash is so hard to fucking watch, but it's really hard to play at high level, and it is a lot of fun when you're playing it. Unless there's a huge upset, though, I don't like watching Smash.
This is fucked up. This is really fucked up. See, when I talk shit about shit, it's, you know, I talk shit about it. But Tim, nope. He doesn't have anything. It's like, you know what? Smash is alright. They're just... And he saves all the other shit for whenever shit's not conveniently recording. He fucking knows. He's got some NSA satellite shit whenever the needle's bumping and when it's not. Oh, man, now is my chance. Fucking, you know, I don't know. Fuck you, Smash players, and fuck you, Mortal Kombat, PlayStation 2 games, and he actually hates 3D everything. And, you know, fucking...
I mean, let the record show I'm taking requests. If people want me to talk shit, that is not a tall order. I will easily oblige. Like, I love talking shit. Man, don't be fooled. Like, I love complaining about shit I don't like. Man, I mean, if I had a dime for every time I blew up MKX or being anything on this show, or anything the fucking Nethercast shows, my gosh, I'd have like $20, but fucking still. That's how.
Oh, fuck you, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Your game fucking sucks. Like, you don't talk about that shit whenever we're recording. You just wait. Like an owl. In a box.
I try to be less controversial when it comes to, like, for example, like, when the mic's off, I'm not going to shit talk the Switch. Or reverse that. When the mic's on, my Switch feelings are repressed. I put that shit in a box and I file it in the depths of my mind. But when that recorder button is off, like, yeah, I'm just ripping the Switch to pieces. I fucking hate that console.
Write it down, dudes. That's all you're gonna get.
Or let me know. Ask me what you want me to talk shit about. I will be happy to help out with that. I'll do my part.
Include that in the questions for the next time. Temp, blow up whatever you got. Blow up this. Blow up this. He was fucking blowing up Mortal Kombat lore earlier. It was real. I heard this shit, and I don't have any of it. It's not here. You're not going to hear it either.
Oh, okay.
He knows what he's doing.
I think Nash's story arc in Street Fighter V story mode is better than anything in MKX. You take that as however you want. That's how I feel. I still think the MKX roster for MKX and the MKX story mode, I think it's all fucking whatever. It's a big grade A box of fucking whatever to me. I am not a fan.
This isn't the stuff, though. This isn't the controversial shit. You can fucking bag on MKX all you want, because people love bagging on MKX. It's... Man, no. See, that's not... he knows what he's doing. He's a professional. He's a professional. I'm still trying to learn. I'll get there. I'll figure it out. When and what is it cool to blow up? I'll get there. In the meantime,
guys, let me know what you want me to talk shit about. Let me know, and I will do my best.
Let him know, because I want to hear the difference. Is there anything else with Final Round that we haven't covered?
Not with Final Round. There is some stuff with other games though.
All right, what's going on?
The Witcher was announced for Soul Calibur 5.
The Witcher, dude. What's this guy's name? Geralt? I think that's right. I could be pronouncing it wrong. Gerald of...
I'm just going to call him The Witcher. So the
Rivera
is The Witcher. The Witcher of Witcher.
I mean, listen, that works too. We all know who you're talking about, which is good. And The Witcher is not a bad name.
Yeah, it's like Frankenstein's monster.
You could do a lot worse than The Witcher. How do you feel about Witcher?
I mean, it's hard. I mean, I don't really feel much, to be honest with you. I mean, no matter who they announced, I don't think, other than Raziel, there's not a single guest character I would have had any reaction to. If anything, I'm disappointed he's not lamer. Because, like, if they got fucking, like, Crash Bandicoot, I'm like, oh, shit! That is so shitty, it's awesome. But no, like, they got someone who's remotely, like, charismatic and just fucking... I mean, I've never played the Witcher games. I'm told very good things. I have an inside source that says they're very good. He loves the game.
He looks pretty cool. He's got white hair. He's kind of anime. He's got the scar. He's hella anime.
I mean, he's a marriage of both worlds, in my opinion. He does have the anime vibe, but he's also got the generic, like, modern EA gaming vibe, where it's just like he looks like every fucking, like, you know, Dark Skyrim, whatever. That's what he looks like to me. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, fucking Skyrim.
Right, you're not right. You're not wrong.
Take it. That's cool. I love Bloodborne, but it's not because, like, my character's got a cool hat, but other than that, he has no identity. So, like, I have no.
We were talking about that in the chat.
Yeah.
Fucking Namco guests, like in Soul Calibur, that would be interesting. I mean, you probably have to do, like, you know, fucking Artorias, or you'd have to do you know, Ludwig or Father Gascoigne, maybe some shit like that. How would you feel about guest characters like that?
Oh, you say Namco guest characters? Are you talking about Tekken? I don't know if the names you mentioned.
Those are Bloodborne characters. Is that not Namco? I'm dropping you a little bit. These words are very important. I need to hear these words.
It depends what you mean by Namco guest characters, because I didn't recognize any of the names you mentioned.
Okay. FromSoft guest characters.
Oh,
does Namco not publish those games? I thought they did.
I mean, maybe. I'm checking.
I could be wrong. Listen, man. I am... Boy, I'm wrong a lot.
I think you're right. Bandai Namco does have an affiliation with Dark Souls and all that jazz. Okay, maybe, like, the characters...
Okay, then let me rephrase that question, then, just so we're clear. Dark Souls, Bloodborne guest characters like Artorias and Father Gascoigne and, you know, fucking the first Vicar, whatever his name was, the cool DLC guy.
I played Bloodborne, and I can't remember a lot of the names, but... if they bring in
Father Gascoigne's that cool guy who's like, you know, fucking sweet blood and sings to me, that guy.
Ah, God, it all blends together. Everyone is just kind of gray and tired in that game. There's a cool guy in a wheelchair with a gun. Like, he's cool. That'd be tight in Soul Calibur. Where just wheels him around and shoots you and shit. Like, that'd be tight.
Gehrman, well, you're talking about, there's the enemy, too. The enemy guy that just is everywhere.
What's that
Grandpa who likes to shoot you.
Let's see. Bloodborne Wolf Chick. Vicar Amelia, before she turns into that ugly shit. Yeah, that would be cool, but not for Soul Calibur.
That would be cool.
Like, maybe, like, as a... I don't see, it's hard, because Soul Calibur's got such a clean anime aesthetic. I don't know if I want to put that ugly werewolf shit in there. I don't know. It's hard.
Well, I mean, would you rather have, like, Noctis?
I actually would. I actually like Final Fantasy 15 a lot. I thought the Tekken reveal for Noctis was actually really sick. I'm not going to play as him. But as far as guest characters go, Noctis is like the cream of the crop, dude. Like, I actually really like that dude. He's got a sword and shit. He's got blue hair.
God, this shit sucks. Why can't you blow up shit? Come on, man. Noctis, it's the most... he looks way more boring than Witcher to me. It's like, dude, this is an anime guy who's, like, wearing his nega clothes today like he's evil.
I don't know. Like, I actually
make everything black this time, like, and send him out.
Like, I've seen, like, I've actually driven in the car with Noctis in Final Fantasy 15. I've, like, you know, seen him, like, play radio tunes and shit. And I don't know. I just have attachment to that character. I don't know anything about The Witcher other than, like, he Witchers. I don't know shit about him.
Listen, that's fine. It's cool. If you'd rather play Noctis than Soul Calibur, I can kind of I guess.
I mean, truth be told, like, I'm not gonna play Noctis in Tekken. Like, I don't play as guest characters. I didn't play as Assassin's Creed in Soul Calibur 5. I'm not gonna play as I didn't play as, like, Yoda or Zelda or even Link. I used to think Link was a good choice for Soul Calibur. In retrospect, though, like, I just don't even care anymore. I have no attachment to that character in the context of Soul Calibur. I feel like Link's stock overall is just... His days, they changed him up so much. And he never really had a personality to begin with, so I don't really even care about Link anymore.
You know, Link sometimes, but not always. I say this every time. For Soul Calibur, though, I would be really interested to see Alucard from Castlevania.
Yeah, that would be. I still would not play as him, but that would be cool. But unless they make a Soul Calibur pachinko machine, that's not gonna ever fucking happen. So
I mean, actually, like, guest character seems like perfect for Konami. Like, we don't gotta do shit. Sure, here's a piece of paper. You send us a check. You can use the character. We don't gotta do shit. Good. Like, that sounds right up their alley.
Oh, no, you have a better chance of getting him in Metal Gear Survive. I don't think there's any hope for Alucard for a good while.
I mean, you're probably right.
Honestly, Soul Calibur 6 is surrounded by so many question marks because they asked the producer, so is it or is it not 21 character slots? Because that's what the select screen is showing. And he responded with, we don't know yet. That is absolute insanity. You're going to have the lowest roster count since, like, the Dreamcast? No, especially if you're using recycled animations with, like, characters who already have, like, imported move lists, and you're going to have 21. No, they have to be lowballing us, because if they're not, that is a blow up. That is a huge blow up. And I've already gone on record saying if something is not in the game, I'm not buying the game. So I'm getting worried about Soul Calibur 6. It's starting to make me nervous, you know.
When's it coming out?
No one knows. The game comes out this year, but they don't have a release date yet. So that means, like, fucking December, early 2017. No one knows what that means. So they did this shit with Spinal and fucking KI. It's like, Spinal coming out in January. We get the fucking trailer on, like, the 29th. It was so fucking stupid. So yeah, I was super butthurt about that. So I don't know, man. I do not know. I want to love that game. I hope it's really good, because that will be my main game for a very long time if it's good and if my characters are in there. But I don't think I'm asking much. I mean, if there's 30 characters and my character didn't make it, I'm still not buying it, but whatever. It's not a blow-up. I mean, it's kind of a blow-up. Like, the best Namco players are all Korean. Why are you not going to put in the one of two Korean characters in there? But I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know if the people really are interested in my Soul Calibur thoughts. I don't know if our audience really has an invested interest in the new Soul Calibur. You guys let us know. But I have a very strong feelings.
Maybe they should. Maybe they should broaden their horizons, or maybe we should talk about the stuff they want to talk about. Tim, we had a question about fucking Fight Sticks versus pads. How do you feel about this?
I mean, there's definitely pros and cons. There's no reason you can't use either. People use both stick and pad for every fighting game ever. I like sticks. The main reason I love arcade sticks is because of the left-hand precision. I feel like there's a lot more input ambiguity when you use pad. I know some people say in the Discord they feel the opposite. They feel like they're more likely to get unwanted inputs on stick, but I don't feel that way at all. I also like the right-hand button access. Using triggers for inputs in some games is just the worst. Street Fighter V is a big offender. Trying to use the triggers for, like, specific inputs and links is just really uncomfortable for me. So I like having that instant right-hand access. Even in MKX, because believe it or not, I can actually play MKX on a pad. I actually learned both because I'd like to play the game at other friends' house. So I liked having that skill set, my artillery set. So, but I hated the triggers because it's like a button where you press the button and there's an instant response. That trigger has to descend all the way down, which, believe it or not, adds a couple of frames of delay. So I noticed as I would drop some EX moves. But something I hate about arcade stick is that when you change sides of the screen, it does have a big effect on how you do inputs. I think the best example of this is for the Dragon Punch input. You do the forward, quarter circle forward, uppercut. For me, that is way harder to do when my character's facing right. That I really have to be on, I have to be on point to do that consistently. I mean, I can do it consistently. It's not a problem, but the likelihood of dropping that or fucking up that input is a little higher, and it'll never be comfortable to me. But another problem I have with arcade sticks is that NetherRealm fighters, for whatever reason, their inputs are not very kind when it comes to alternate controls. Some asshole told Paulo that arcade users like half circles. I don't know who that motherfucker was, but some person said to Paulo, listen, arcade stick users love half circles. Give those extremely intuitive back-forward inputs to the pad players and rip that shit for the arcade stick users. Give them half circles. They love them. Why on earth would you change back-forward inputs? Why on earth would stick users not like that? I've been using stick for over 5 years now, and
Is that not optional?
It is optional, but you have to. It's optional if you change. And now Injustice 2 might be a different story. I have to re-review Injustice 2. But for the previous games, if you turned off alternate controls, you get rid of your diagonal requirement, and that creates more ambiguity for inputs. And I hated that.
Oh.
So if I want that diagonal prerequisite for my inputs, I have to sign my name on the half circles. I think that's fucking stupid. I hate that. It just. And it's like 3 games in a row, I think. Like I said, I would have to re-review Justice 2. But I think we're on the 3rd game of that shit. Someone needs to tell Paulo, no one fucking likes the half circles. Nobody. Also, just why on earth would you change Melina's teleport to a down-down input? I know people were saying that they don't have a problem with it on stick. I do. When I'm trying to do that down-down input in a cancel window, I have to completely shift my left hand. Like, it's not... Unless I do it with my wrist or pull my forearm down like a lever... I have to tap it with my middle finger. That's how I do it, and it's super awkward. And the guy who did the MK9 update, where he rebalanced the game and like redid all the move properties, he changed like some of the inputs to down for specials. I'm like, why would you do that? Like, oh god, it pissed me off so much. I mean, it's his game. Let him do what he wants. Same thing with Paulo. If he wants half circles, fine. But anyway, the good things about stick. Why I like arcade sticks. I just feel like well, first of all, I mean, just it's universal. Like, I use the same stick for PS4 that I use for Xbox.
That helps a bunch.
Oh yeah, totally.
Because you don't have to switch those sticks like around and all that shit for pads like you do on consoles. That is a bitch for everyone.
Well, I just think it's cool that you can walk into a Japanese arcade and your skills are still there. You're like, nothing is compromised in that transition. That's cool to me. I like having that universal skill across all consoles, all fighting games. But if I had to sell people why they should use sticks, I would just say it's better right-hand access, more movement precision, and I think overall it's more comfortable. Like, playing on a pad for extensive use in fighting games, it's a little harder, a lot more input ambiguity. But there's cons too. Like, double inputs, doing really quick double inputs, that took some time for me. Like, a lot of people don't like using a stick for anime fighters just because that air dashing just takes a lot of quick inputs and it's not like left to right or double left, double right, or even double down. You're air dashing, so you're doing the 2 diagonals toward, and like, hands are not built to do that. So I don't know. I really like arcade stick, and I think in almost every respect it's better. It's problematic for like some side changing. You know, some double inputs are going to take time. Like if I'm doing the Johnny Cage juggle, where I'll like do a back 3 kick you in the air and do jab, dash, jab, jab, so on. Jab, dash, jab, dash, jab, dash. Yes, that'll take some practice, but for fucking everything else, I think stick is way better. And I would strongly recommend it. I don't even think the price is an issue. You will go through more pads before your stick breaks down, in my opinion. And you can customize it as much as you want. So, what do you think? Why do you like pad, Django?
I am not an expert on this subject because I have not spent that much time on sticks. So I can't be like, you know, pads are better, because that's not the way my argument works, because I don't have enough data to say that, you know, pads are better. I don't think they are. It's probably very game dependent, I would imagine. Thus far, NRS games have been very pad friendly because they've been engineered for so long to be on consoles with pads. So that's been their thing. Recently, they have been fucking up, and they've gotten blown up for it. Injustice 2, when that game came out, its fucking inputs were all over the place. I was playing Robin, and I was getting his stupid dive kick all the time, and I never wanted to do the dive kick. It was so bad, especially back then. It was really bad. It was a bad move. You don't want to do it. And if you were doing it, you were fucking dead. You're just like, hey, I'm gonna sit here for like 5 minutes. You can hit me. Takeda had some similar problems when MKX came out, and it wasn't just these characters that had the problems. They were just the characters I was playing, so it was the characters I was feeling the problems through. Takeda, man, sometimes I would get that shitty, like, weird fireball spinny kick he did in the air that Shinnok got to steal. Like, I don't want to do that shit. Don't make me do that shit. But the inputs were just fucking weird in those 2 games specifically. They were trying some shit. And they were also... I'll put it out there, they're also working out rollback netcode at the same time. And inputs are very important for any netcode, but especially rollback netcode. So there's probably some of that's that's just them iron out the kinks of the brand new, shiny, you know, fucking catching up to the rest of the industry netcode that they have now. But like there's a lot of things you said that I completely agree with. I don't want to fucking switch my input device from game to game. I have my Cronus Max now, which lets me use whatever the fuck I want, and that's way better. I also don't want to use triggers. Triggers suck. Get the fuck triggers out of here. Although for Injustice it hasn't been a problem because I don't use supers. Especially fucking there's a lot of supers that my characters have that suck ass. Robin's super? Like, what are you even talking about? Listen, by the way, I've heard that his legendary sword exchanges his super. I still have not got that piece of legendary gear. I will one day, because it takes so long to get that shit. But I don't even know what the super is. I don't want to know. I want to be surprised for better or for worse when I do get that piece of legendary Robin gear. So, don't spoil it. Anyway,
that's cool. I didn't know it changed the super. That's tight.
God, he needs a new super. It's so bad. Like, I'm so glad they did that. I can only imagine what it is. I hope that it's bad. I really actually hope that it's better. There's a little part of me that's when you're like, really? Do you really want to work your ass off for this shit? Like, what if it also sucks? What if it has like a shitty startup? What if it hits not great? Like on whatever. But man, he does have one of the shittiest. Who has some of the shittiest supers? I'm digressing hard. Robin and
Blue Beetle is pretty bad.
Blue Beetle's, yeah, his is pretty basic too. You're right. Fucking, you just fucking see shit like Batman's super is good because it's fucking Tim Burton movie. Aquaman's super is good because he floods the planet somehow. It's pretty cool. Bane's super is sick because it's just anime lines in the background and he is doing every wrestling move imaginable in the air. It's pretty. I'm not big. Like Superman's is pretty good too. Supergirl's is shitty. I don't like her. Anyway,
I like hers a lot. I like Starfire's a lot too.
Starfire's does look not bad. It does look weird when she's flying through space and like throwing the balls at you. Like the animation is just weird, but she has a lot of weird animation in general, in my opinion. NetherRealm can struggle on that though with floaty characters. But Firestorm has some of the worst animation in the fucking NetherRealm history, in my opinion. His shit looks so stupid, and a lot of his good shit that people use a lot looks really fucking stupid, and it's a problem. Like, you're fucking doing can kicks, dude. Like, what the fuck are you doing? At least with Adam, they didn't have to animate anything. He just disappears, so he's gone. He's like a little ball, he's Tinkerbell, so you don't gotta animate that shit. It's a good move, it's dope. What are we talking about? Peripherals, inputs. Triggers suck. No, don't do triggers. Triggers, yeah, there's a billion other problems because triggers don't work the same way as a button. It's a whole different animal. There's a million other, like, mini switches in there to be like, hey, what, degree you're pushing this thing at? Like, what's going on here? And there's that range, and that range is not good if you need a button. So, I don't use normal pads usually. I have a couple fight pads that I like from, I think, Xbox 360 days, that I use the Chronos with, and I don't have to worry about triggers. I don't have to worry about any of that shit. The layout's cool. So I'm sort of in the middle. I got one of those weird PDF fight pads somewhere. I'm looking around my room to find it, and I can't. And there's no point in me finding it, because what difference is that going to make on a podcast?
How often do your pads break? How often do you have to replace a pad?
The only time I've had to replace a pad just because of... That's not true. I've replaced two, I guess, and they were both 360 pads. But one of them was broken through not regular usage, so that's going to happen.
Did you throw it, or the other, what happened?
That sounds dramatic, doesn't it? That one, it did get bounced off the floor a couple of times. Thanks to amazing netcode in some games that, I don't have to mention. There was a couple of rage instances, and I'm not one to fucking rage about shit. But man, sometimes... And, it's one of those things you feel immediately bad after it happened. And it's only, like I said, it's only happened on a couple of occasions. Usually, I'm not a fucking Smash player, and I don't throw my shit, and that's what I strive to do. And I haven't done that fucking years, so it's all good. I'm not gonna lie. Fucking rollback netcode, fucking, competent netcode has probably been a factor in that too. It's salved that particular wound. But no, but beyond that, just regular usage. I've been lucky. My pads have hung in there with me. I was really into the Street Fighter 4 fight pads for Xbox 360 and PlayStation.
I remember those, yeah.
And so I bought a few of those once I realized, like, hey, these are really good. I got my Cronus Max. I can, you know, swap these in and out as I like them. I did that. I got that PDF one, like I said. I don't like that one as much. The layout's the same, but it has that odd thumbstick thing that's like that's like a fight switch with the switches, and you can hear the dip switches in there, or whatever they're called. You can hear that shit in there, and it's weird. I don't like it as much. I would have liked to try it out that MKX PDF pad. Never got the chance though. That one seemed okay, but I bet I would probably have to go back to the fight pads. Fight pads are they just hang in there. They're good quality. They're not dying on me. Are they Mad Cats?
I know Mad Cats did make some. I think there's a strong likelihood they were Mad Cats.
You'd think I have some very handy, but I very don't. It's weird. I also do have to say though, I really like the Xbox One controller. I'm probably not gonna. I don't know if I'll use it whenever Mortal Kombat comes back. I don't think I will. I'll probably switch back to fight pads, and that's interesting too because Injustice doesn't need a block button, and I don't like those. I don't like bumpers and that shit the way they feel on the Xbox One controller as much. In Injustice, you know, it's back to block, so it's not that big of a deal, and it has a good D-pad. I like the Xbox One D-pad, so that's all good. But when MKX comes back, I'm probably going to switch back to fight pads all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I will give one benefit to pads in general is they're very small and easy to store. Like, once I got to my third arcade stick, God, these things take up so much space, and God, if you care about your feng shui at all in your like living room, they are the worst. Like, some chick came to my apartment, she was like, "Is that from the 70s?" I'm like, "No, don't pay attention to that." So, yeah, that's a problem. that is one drawback. Yeah, but I mean, other than also, now they have like fight bags where you can actually store your stick while you travel to a tournament. I had to just buy like a backpack from the 90s to store my my fucking fight stick when I went to Evo. So that is one problem with fight sticks. They are a giant pain in the ass, and
they're large.
They're very large and cumbersome.
What are your thoughts on fight sticks and fight pads and all of this in regards to tone wood? Does it make a difference? Is it important?
I like the strong mid-range.
I have to wonder, like, some of it, maybe like an alder, would have some bend to it, a little bit of give, if you're really getting in there, whereas like a maple wouldn't. A maple would, dish it back as hard as you're putting in there. What do you think about that?
I think if you use anything other than alder, you're getting lost in the mix. No one's going to see you play.
Oh man, the jokes are funny.
I love woods.
I hope people get them. I hope people don't.
No,
have you noticed any differences
over the Tonewood debate? What's that?
Once that episode goes up on YouTube, which will be Monday, I can't fuck it up because it's already up and it's just scheduled and it's waiting. Once that goes up, I'm looking forward to seeing if there's even more feedback about the Tonewood situation, because that's a controversial issue, man. That shit's fucking what's the word that I can't think of? Superstition with a lot of people. Which it invites opinion and drama and belief. Like, it goes beyond opinion; it goes into belief. That'll be interesting to hear. But what does wood? How does that affect fight sticks? Like, there has to be there has to be something there, like weight size, what have you.
Like, my most recent Mad Cats is fucking heavy as shit. I don't know why they got. I kind of know why they got so much heavier. The cool thing about the modern Mad Cat sticks before they went out of business is you can literally there's a button you can press and the whole thing just opens up and you see all its guts and it has like a storage space for like a screwdriver and stuff like that. And that's kind of cool. Like, if your button goes bad, you can put an extra button in there. That
does sound like a really good fix for liability at tournaments and stuff, because shit's gonna fucking pop out. It's gonna go wrong. My EMG batteries are gonna go out. Like, you gotta have that extra shit. Okay, Q&A time. We're gonna listen, guys. Really, thanks for sending these questions, because they're a big help. Like, listen, we're doing fine with Tonewood and stuff like that. Like, it's giving us some good conversation. But These Q&As, they're really good. They're really good. I should say these Qs. These Qs are really good. We're doing our best with the A's. Hopefully that stays that way. And so far, you guys are good. Man, I even asked earlier today, and you guys are some juicy fucking questions here. But first, we're going to answer this question from Snake Eyes again, because it was a really good one. Let me read it. I've got it right here. I wrote it with my own fingers. Snake Eyes said, do you think Overwatch League draws a bigger crowd because the game is easier to just observe than, say, Street Fighter V?
I think so. Like, I mean, when we answered this question last time, we did a lot of comparisons of just how an audience will perceive each game differently. And I think the biggest problem with fighting games, and the reason why they'll never really take off in esports, is there's just so much data you can't get by watching a fighting game. To really understand a match, you have to know so much going into it. You have to understand at least a little bit of the game's meta, and it's just, you can't learn that just by watching the game. Maybe for really listening to the commentary, but that's such a small part of the picture. And we did later discuss this. I mean, me and Snake Eyes briefly talked about this in the Discord between episodes. And he said, his response was, well, yeah, but you can see the more visceral side of things, right? Like, you can tell when someone scores a block strike. You can tell when someone scored a strike, I don't know if that's exciting, though. I don't know if that's the part people enjoy. Like, I took a day off from work so I could watch Final Round. I watched Final Round because when I watch the matches, I know a lot, not all of them. There's a lot of Street Fighter V I don't know about, but there's a lot of intricacies I can see that other people may not be, observant to. And I think maybe the point Snake Eyes was making in the Discord was that a lot of that may not be necessary. Like, you can tell when Deadshot zoning. It's not really important to know that, the startup is like, I think it's like, 15 frames now? I have to look that up. But, yeah, you can tell when he's successfully zoning. You don't have to be a fighting game expert.
Yeah, you can tell, all right. You can tell. Boy.
But, for Batman's, frame advantage on his EX bats in the earlier patches, no, you have to know, because otherwise they'll say the guy is just not pressing buttons. You have to know how advantageous it is to really get the most out of watching the match. And perhaps I am wrong, but I don't think I am, and here's why. In order for esports to take off for the fighting games, everyone has to watch it, not just tourney players, not just fighting game players. And the casuals, aka the people who play Mortal Kombat, who have sort of like a modern understanding of it, they don't watch tournaments. A lot of them do not tune into the Twitch, streams for majors or regionals or even like the weeklies. Like, they don't watch it, and they do understand a lot of the game. They do understand that, an uppercut is a main anti-air for a lot of characters. They do understand that, the high and low mix-up. I mean, if you played MKX, you better fucking understand that. So, and they don't watch tournaments. So I'm thinking the only people who are really digging this stuff are the people who have been in those shoes and have gone to their local scene and have played in a tournament, or they've gone online and they've tried to grind out sets, and they tried to get, diamond rank for Street Fighter V, or they tried to get all those points for their Ermac and MKX, If you're not really striving to be a better player, I don't think you're going to enjoy watching other people strive to be a better player. I don't think StarCraft is like that, because I just think it's more transparent. I think the cool stuff is more readily apparent to the audience, so that's why I think fighting game esports is never truly going to take off. I just think to really enjoy it, you got to understand it and perhaps empathize with it. You have to have sat in that seat before at some level, even if that seat happens to be your office chair while you're playing ranked. I
hella agree.
You've never been to a tournament, but you know the ranked experience and you know the grind very well, better than me. Yeah,
but I don't even if I'm not an Overwatch expert, but I've never played Overwatch, never touched it. But I've dropped into a couple Overwatch streams, and I can watch it. It's fine. I get what's going on. This dude's doing that fucking shit, and this guy is playing Reaper, so he's reaping everyone, and it's good. I can do the same thing with a PUBG or a Fortnite. I've never played one of those games for a second, but I could drop in and be like, okay, I don't know why you're building a house in Fortnite, but it's cool. I get it. Still, when the other guy comes around the corner, you want to shoot that guy. And, generally speaking, the same thing is kind of true in PUBG or something like that. Fighting games, though, I know about fighting games. I know how they work. I can watch, some other game that I don't know as much about at a tournament and be like, what the fuck is going on over here? What's going on in Dragon Ball? I felt that several times. Tekken,
yeah,
I felt that way a few times.
It's very hard to follow. Now that I've actually like grinded sets in that game, it's very clear to me now, but it took a lot of time to really get that down. In Dragon Ball, that is.
No, yeah, and even fucking in fighting games that I know, and I'm seeing weird shit like fucking Scarecrow. Some of the Scarecrow shit I saw early on in Injustice, it's like, what is going on? Like, can he do anything about that? Which, like, that's exactly what you said. Like, that's a big thing. Like, why is he not doing anything like that? Since they're not doing anything about that, I catch on. Okay, they must not be able to. That just must not be an option. But if you're not as primed for fighting game stuff, and that being how things work a lot of the time, then that I can see that being more of a problem than like, oh shit, here comes this guy around the corner with a gun blazing. Like, we know what's gonna happen. Like, we know how this works. But again, that's still my experiences. This is my anecdotal shit. So I just have a much harder time being like, general audiences who don't know about fighting games are going to be able to jump in and be like, why isn't that guy doing anything about that Scarecrow bullshit? That's just my opinion. That's my take on the thing.
And they're not going to know the storylines either. They're not going to know that it's a big deal that Honeybee beat Sonic Fox, with the Flash. I mean, you have to know a lot of the history too. And I mean, real sports are often like this. But, if you don't know like the last 20 years of sports, like a lot of the rivalries don't even make sense. So I don't know. I remember. Here's a good example. I remember me, like half the Nethercast crew, Redman, Brusque, and Ishii, I believe, were all watching the E-League stream because we knew that the Injustice Pack 3 was going to be revealed, right? Like, me and Redman were watching the tournament. We were actually paying, at least I think Redman was too, and we were getting hyped because, like, oh my god, upsets, right? And Tekken Master was in there. God, it's been so long, and I only saw that night. I couldn't watch the others, but like the matches were good. We were watching Forever King do his thing, and Forever King was doing so well until he wasn't, and that was sad. But the other guys in the chat, like they didn't really pay much of attention. They were there for the reveal trailer. And here's the thing: almost everyone, if not all the other people in that chat, other than me and Redman, they do have a modern understanding of high-level Injustice. They do know how the game works. They do know, like, safe setups versus unsafe setups. They do know the back three, forward three mix-ups. They understand all that. And even being as attached to the game as they were, they still weren't terribly interested in E-League. So what does that tell us? That tells me that you have to be if you haven't done the personal grind yourself, either offline or online, or if you don't follow the rivalries and the histories, and you don't have an attachment to these players, there's nothing for you here. I don't think a general audience at least, is ever going to latch on to the fighting game thing. That's what that tells me. And there's nothing wrong with that. If fighting games stopped being esports, I don't even think that'd be the worst thing in the world. So I don't know. That's telling to me. That shows me that it's not just understanding the game. There's something else going on here.
I don't know what else. Yeah, I can't add anything to that. That's my opinion as well. Snake Eyes, I hope that we did it better that time. I think
it's a really good question, and honestly, we're just breaking the surface. But yeah, it's a hella good question. There's so much more, though.
It is. It's a super good question. Like I said, it's only going to get asked more because it is very hot button for good reason too. Let's jump. Hey, we got more. Let's use those. Again, thank you guys for these questions. They're good ones. I like it. So, start off with a fucking just lit as AF. Great questions, guys. Thank you. This is DJ Timmy G says, how's the wife? Are you enjoying life? It's, it's not bad. It's not bad. I'm kind of under the weather right now. I think I think the shit's opening up a little bit as the podcast progresses. I can't fucking say anything. But I'm all right. I'm hanging in there. It's good. We got some good conversation, some Tonewood shit going on. How are you, Timp?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah. So far, all the questions have been good. I like that Snake Eyes question a lot, so we're going to revisit that again in the future. But in terms of like me and my wife, yeah, we're good. I mean, she doesn't exist, but other than that, things are cool. Really, honestly, okay, real talk, audience, real talk listeners. I have a lot of overtime opportunity in my work right now, so I've been putting in like an extra 2 to 3 hours a week, and like the money's been hella good. Like, I can buy all the digital copies of Monster Hunter World that I want now. So in that sense, things are really good. On the flip side, I'm super tired like all the time now. And I'm doing the school thing again pretty soon too. I took a break from the online classes just because of the holidays and shit, and work was so intense. But that's the cool thing about online classes. You can take whenever you want. So yeah, I guess it's kind of like a yin and yang kind of thing. Things are okay. Ever since I moved to the apartment, though, things have been a lot easier. And yeah, just money.
You're even nice whenever you're just doing like little real talks here. You're still not blowing stuff up.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to blow up anything at work. I don't want, like, as far as work goes, like, it's funny because a lot of my boss, my coworkers, a lot of them know about the podcast. They don't know what it's called. Most of them don't care, but they do know about the podcast. But I like my job mostly. There's things I don't like about it, but yeah, I wouldn't blow up anything about work on the podcast. I'm way too safe. I'm way too cautious for that.
Smart guy. You're fucking,
yeah.
Don't jump around. Stay on the ground. Scoot in when you can. It's good strat. That's how you get W's. What else did he say? Do you think video games are a sport?
What's a sport, though? Like, if you define what a sport is, then I'll tell you if they're a sport or not. I don't know.
It just always reminds me of those stupid things I've seen where, like, just super brilliant, intrepid journalists are like, it's not a sport, it's a game. Oh, this is some fucking dank-ass knowledge you're dropping on the rest of us. Man, how did you get your job? I mean, if there's competition, it's a sport.
I mean, I have no problem with that definition, but the reason why I'm hesitant is, would you call chess a sport?
Yes.
Then I'm okay with that. I do feel like fighting games are closer to chess and, like, I guess, like, logical decision making than it is to, like, I don't know, lacrosse. I do feel like the connect is much stronger to the other direction.
Absolutely.
So I want to be careful. Also, like, I think esports is a very charged word. It sounds like a gimmick to me. I can't help but to picture Mountain Dew when I hear that word. So
as you should.
So yeah, I have no problem calling it a sport. It is. I prefer calling it just competitive. Just it's competitive fighting games because it is. It's extremely competitive. I would say it's more competitive than chess because chess does not require reaction time, and like you have access to all the same pieces. You don't have like one chess player doesn't have access to all the broken pieces while the other guy picks all the low tier chess pieces and bitches about it. No, chess is even. Everyone has the exact same tools. It's very, very high level guessing. That's what chess is in a nutshell. And pattern recognition. So yeah, I would say yes, I do think it's a sport, but it's like defining sports is like defining art. You can't really do it. So I'm hesitant to use the word, but I would say yes. Stay tuned though, because in the future we may want to abandon that word like a dead cat. Like we may want to ditch that shit. That word could turn poisonous. So I'd say yes, but I would not be married to that term.
I don't like fucking words getting all inflated, and that's a word that I definitely like letting the air out of when I can. Inflating a little bit. Sport. Like, what is a sport? Fucking, going out hunting for sport. Like, it's a sport in one of those weird ways. Like, I don't do it, but it's a sport like more in the golf sort of way, which is there's still competition going here.
I say archery. I would compare fighting games maybe to archery in terms of dexterity and just decision making.
Yeah, I could see that too. And in these types of things, like you can also compete against yourself, which is also for sport. What did fucking what did the great Michael Caine say in The Dark Knight? Oh well, some Ben because it's good sport. He goes out and he gets the jewels, the rubies, then he throws them away. It's good sport because, like, you don't fucking value it, but other people value it, so taking it away from them is the value. That's still sport. Like, I get it. That makes sense. That's still that anything that you can apply that concept to, like, there's competition, there's, like, some planning, like, okay, I gotta go in here, I gotta do this, and if I do this and this and this, and I check all the T's and I cross all the I's, then I can succeed. You definitely have to have a pretty obvious success and fail state I think, for sport type things. But beyond that, like, fucking sure, you don't need bleachers. You don't need crowds. You don't need referees. You don't need any of that shit. You don't need sponsors.
Games. Like, we have referees and bleachers and crowds.
Oh yeah,
so.
Yeah, you do. But like, you don't have to have them. They're not like a requirement. You don't have to have all this bullshit. You don't have to have commentators. You can, but you don't have to.
I would say
if there's fucking competition going on. It's a sport, and video games are fucking cool because video games are, in my opinion, the best medium. Period. They don't get used to the fullest extent that they could be, but they don't have to be a sport. Like, you can do so much other shit with video games that has nothing to do with being sport. But you can also do the sportiest fucking sport shit that's ever been sported with video games. So, like, are they in it? Like, no, not every video game and every aspect of a video game is a sport. But there is a giant aspect of a lot of video games that are the sportiest sports ever. That's my opinion.
I will say this, like, in the philosophical sense, I absolutely agree with you, and video games are absolutely sports. There's no question it. However, if the World Sports Panel came together and said, fighting games, you are not a sport, we put our brains together, we made a decision, you are officially not a sport, you do not qualify. If that does happen, then we're taking all the shitty non-sports with us. Bowling is coming with us, they're not a fucking sport anymore. Archery is not a fucking sport anymore. Fucking competitive fishing, what the fuck is that about? That's not a fucking sport. You didn't do anything to make that fish 30 inches, okay? You didn't pick the right worm or some shit like that. No, we're dragging all their asses through the mud, and that's
a lot of random NG, man. It's a lot of random NG.
Indeed. So yeah, I mean, the term is a marketing term at heart. The philosophical definition, I think there is one, but it doesn't mean anything in terms of TV marketing. So I would say yes, it's a sport, but if it's not, then I'm okay with that. I want people to recognize how hard and competitive it is to do this stuff is. I want them to recognize how difficult it is just to do the execution. Never mind doing better execution than your opponent, making right reads and decision-making reactions. I want them to see that. If they think it's a sport or not, I'm not super concerned about. But it is a good question because, again, this is going to be super relevant very soon. This question is going to only get more important as more money falls into the fighting game community.
It is, but that's the shitty part about it because, like, you know, it shouldn't be a thing where money affects if it's a sport or not. Nor should the third-party approval. Like, you don't need that shit for something to be a sport. It is a sport if you want it to be. If you don't want it to be a sport in your venue or that you want to include in your list of sports, that's fine. That's your opinion. You can do whatever you want with it. But there's no panel that gets to be like, this is a sport, this isn't. Sorry, that doesn't exist. You could tell people that that's what you are, but, you know, the fucking day before that, you guys were just a bunch of weird fucking, like, fantasy football motherfuckers sitting around talking about sports. The next day, like, now we're official sports panel. We get to make decisions about what sports. Like, fuck those nerds. If they, I don't even know if they exist. If they don't exist, cool. If they do exist, then man, they have marketed themselves very well. But fuck that noise. Sports, I can walk outside and make up a sport. It's gonna suck, but I can totally do it. I can fucking, you know, thumb wrestling nationals is a sport. If you're not into it, it's not a sport you're interested in, that's cool. If it is, that's cool too. But sport is not a thing that's, I feel, actually opinion oriented. It's a little more like math. If you don't want multiplication in your circle of sports, of maths, that's fine, but it is, so that's cool too. Everybody can do you, but it's a sport. That's my opinion.
I think I just remembered something too. I think that sports panel is fucking real because I was watching Ultra Gen and they said that fighting games were audited for a potential candidate in the Olympics for 220 whatever. We were actually evaluated. And they decided no, but I don't think it was because we weren't a sport. I think it was just because, I don't know if they thought we were fucking family friendly or some shit like that. That's why they denied us, I think. So, that's
definitely understandable.
But yeah, so apparently it kind of did happen. It was a thing.
That is, like you said, also relative to the Olympics or whatever. So if there's a sport panel of sports guys, like, even in that sense, it is, quote, like, you know, like, for the Olympics with that addendum or whatever. And then they fucking boot Olympic wrestling, like amateur wrestling and shit too, somewhat recently. I think they did. They might have brought it back since then because of the backlash. But it's like, you know what? Fuck you nerds. You guys can do whatever you want. You guys don't get to determine what is things and what's not things. You could just determine what things appear on your, fucking broadcast shit.
Yeah, it's funny. I've heard a lot of bad things about, like, just the corruption behind the politics of the Olympics. I don't know anything about it. I'll be honest with you, I never watched the Olympics. Like, I don't do it on purpose. I have no personal investment. Like, basketball, figure skating, I don't have anything to do with it. I have no interest. So I'm not, if you like it, cool, but, like, I mean, I don't know who these fucking people are. Like I was watching Chinese volleyball at work because it was on it was on the screen in the break room, and it was just on like at 2 a.m. at night, and I was just watching that shit. But I mean, like, I have no investment, so I don't know if it's a good thing if they're like, yeah, it's fighting games, come on board. I don't know if I like that. That would make me really nervous.
But it's also just like, come on board, what?
Yeah.
Like, we're already doing shit over here. We're fine. We got it. Like, we don't need your board. We're all bored already. Like, we don't fucking need you guys. It was a good question. What is this? Chromatos asks, what does he say? Rephrase my previous questions into one. Since X-ray is technically useless, it's not technically useless, but it's all but in competitive play, couldn't it be remodeled as an additional meter burn boost to a special move, which would halt the gameplay for spectacle/eye rest, but allow a greater technical depth? For example, let's take Ice Blast. Boosting it would produce the Ice Beam from Mortal Kombat 9, while a second stage boost would actually send an icicle impaling the guy, through the stomach X-ray style, and send him flying away half a screen, nail him to the arena edge while also freeing him. Would this be better choice to allow for more frequent spectacle and additional usefulness instead of one cinematic showpiece which only deals damage and scales and is frankly a glorified bone breaker?
I mean, I'm not against the idea. The visuals, I don't really have a strong opinion on. Because we had a similar question about this last week. I think it was Snake Eyes who asked it, where instead of like, we could do like, instead of having the EX move, you could have layers of EX, you could augment it to different levels. In the X-ray, which is kind of like the final form. My answer is similar. I'm not against it. I think there's some competitive play. I don't really like the X-ray visuals. I don't think they look super awesome. Because, like, I don't know what's a good example. Well, let's just say Yuri in Super Street Fighter V. He punches the ground, and there's a pillar of, like, purple fire and just fucks with the opponent. That looks cool. But when Cassie Cage pops some dude's balls, it's funny, and the idea is kind of it's hardcore, but I don't know if I want to see that all the time. So if we want to just kind of like Paul and Burst the X-ray idea and put that aesthetic in other aspects of Mortal Kombat, I don't know if I'd be all about that. I kind of like the idea that the X-rays are contained into one cinematic, even if that cinematic is rare and doesn't happen like hardly ever. So I don't know. Thoughts, Shenko?
I agree. I don't, like you said, like, I'm not interested in the spectacle of X-rays anymore. I'm not interested in the spectacle of fatalities either. I'm not, but I mean, I get, like, you're gonna have that shit because it's Mortal Kombat. You have to have that shit. That's fine. But as far as competitively goes, I'll say this. I like the idea of different uses for specials depending on how you want to boost them. Like if you want to do if you want to spend 2 bars on a super ice ball rather than just a single bar on a single meter burn ice ball, like I could see some interesting potential there. And if you want to spend all 3 or all 4 bars, whatever you have, on your ice ball, then you get something X-ray-ish, but it's faster and smaller, maybe. Like I can get on board with that too. That's cool too. Man, I have a really hard time thinking about those things in terms of spectacle. I just get hung up on the function of them, and that's the only thing that's where my head is mostly, just the functionality. So the functionality sounds interesting. It sounds like it's a good way to get more material, more possibilities out of special moves in general. It adds depth without complexity, which I'm always about. Like, it's not adding extra moves, it's not adding extra shit, it's not adding extra meter stuff, really. So it is interesting in those respects, I think.
Yeah, I'd agree. I definitely don't want to see more like visceral violence in Mortal Kombat. I think that stuff, you got to be very careful how much you show that, because it loses its effect very quickly. Even if extras were shorter and more prominent, I think it'd be a gameplay improvement. I don't think it'd be an artistic improvement. I just don't think they look good enough to put that shit all over the aesthetic. If that stuff was all over the MK11 palette, I think it would look bad. I think a good example of this was battle damage. If they have remastered in K9, I hope they let us turn off battle damage. That stuff was so bad. It looked awful to me. And yeah, I don't know. I would like to see less of it, honestly. I have ideas for gameplay utility in X-rays, but for the actual cinematic itself, I don't know if I want to spread that around. I think I like the fact that it is somewhat contained.
I agree.
Good question.
I agree, I especially agree with the fucking grotesqueness, the violence, all that shit. Like, it's not like I'm like, ooh, like, yeah, there's some cringe moments with some of the shit, because that's the point, but as far as making anything more hype or interesting to look at, like, no, not after I've seen it a couple times. Like, after that, it still just feels like, okay, everybody put your controllers down and wait a minute, while this move happens, while we watch this YouTube video, and I hate that shit. That's one of the reasons why I like, you know, Injustice for, like, low tier, putting in those weird super blocks, if you want to do that, to, like, counter it as it goes along, or boost the damage a little bit as they go along. I'd like to see more things done in that thought direction. Not necessarily that specifically, but think about those things. Consider those things when designing all these moves and whatnot. I would like to see that happen.
I'd rather see a giant ice beam before I saw someone's skull crack. Like, I think a giant ice beam would be more up my alley. I just think that's cooler, you know? I'm so desensitized to the violence of Mortal Kombat. It doesn't really have a positive effect on me anymore. Although, granted, that said, though, there's some extras I like for the non-violent aspects. Here's a good example. Shinnok just slaps the fuck out of you like you're one of his mob goons, and I think that's so tight. I think that's hella cool. Things that show the character's personality are still a huge thumbs up for me. So that is kind of like the appeal of extras for me. Brutalities are cool, too. Like, I like the self-instant brutalities, but, yeah, those are kind of fun.
Brutalities are the best. Brutalities are so fucking good because they are all about gameplay and execution. Man, brutalities are sick. And you're right. I also agree with what you said, like a Shinnok. Same with, like, Darkseid in Injustice when he walks up and just backhands you across the thing. Like, those are good things. That's not what I'm trying to downplay whenever I'm talking about, you know, spectacle and whatnot. But that stuff's still all in video in the game. So something, you know, getting in there and mixing those two up better than separating them like they feel a lot of the time now is where my head is.
Yeah, you see one femur break, you kind of seen it all.
It's like, yeah, we've done this, man. It's cool. Keep doing the cool shit that's character-y and personality and whatnot. But as far as flying in and looking at the X-ray, like, yeah, all right, that's cool. We saw that shit in, like, fucking, what are the Blitz games? Like, it's been around for a while. It's not new.
Right.
And there's more out there that you can do. Oh, yeah, DJ Timmy G, do you think FGC will ruin fighting games? We've kind of talked about that. And, you know, we're gonna have to play that by ear, man. But sometimes that seems to be the case. Sometimes it feels that way. But yeah, I mean, but we've already, like, fucking dropped the mic on that. Is there anything else you want to say about that?
This is another one of those. It depends on what he means by the question. Because the answer is interesting. It also depends how you define the FGC. You know, is Mountain Dew technically part of the FGC right now? So yeah, maybe that could do it.
That's true. Like,
yeah.
FGC is just like the group of people playing the fighting games, which is not a bad thing. But the organization of it and the esports of it and all that shit is it's another story.
But he might not mean that though. He might be asking, will Justin Wong ruin the fighting games? And that's also,
I don't think he did.
I don't think he did either, but I don't know. I guess I'll answer it both ways. I'll assume the worst case scenario. If it's like, if we're talking esports here, then no, I don't think so. I think eventually the money pot's going to run out and they're going to move on. So no, I'm not too worried about that. If it does work out and ends up being a lot of fighting game or a lot of money in fighting games, I think it'll get worse. I think the streams will get worse. I think the level of competition, or at least the character variety, will get worse. I think tier placement is going to be a lot more important. However, people will get to live off fighting games. That'll be cool. I mean, there's going to be pluses and minuses. Now, let's assume the other scenario. Let's say he was assuming that, like, Filipino Champ is just going to ruin fighting games and all his cronies. Because that is kind of how Shadaloo feels. Shadaloo does think that one of the reasons why Street Fighter V was so shitty is because of the influence of the fighting game community. At least that's how I understood Shadaloo. Audience or Shadaloo, if you're listening, feel free to correct me on that. But he does think that, we're the party poopers. With all the things, that the lore guys want, the fighting game guys are often cock blocking. I don't feel like that's true. For one thing, we want a lot of the same stuff. Because we've seen what fighting games are like without the FGC. Remember Third Strike? Remember Chun-Li and fucking Yoon jungles for hours?
Beautiful.
Yeah, that was fun, right? No, the reason why those are not around anymore, or at least not nearly as powerful, is because of the FGC. Because we have people who play these games and test these games, and we can see what high level play looks like, all the time, every day, from regional to regional. All that's because of us, the FGC. So I don't think the FGC, like the grassroots, will ever ruin fighting games. I think it will only make them better. Sometimes they cater to us in the wrong way, but I don't think you want the alternative. Because if they stop catering to us, they're not going to start catering to the lore guys. They're still going to make the writing by community story modes that everyone hates.
Could you imagine? Oh man, how do you cater the fucking? How does Paolo cater to the fucking lore? Like, dude, who's got to be the buffest in this game? What's going on? Well, I mean, no, don't do that.
Yes, I mean, let's face it, the lore guys are not next in line if they decide to deprioritize the FGC. So I'm with you. I don't think that's what he meant. If he did, though, and again, there is that crowd, I mean, a lot of the Dragon Ball Z fans are unhappy because Yamcha, who's a jobber in the show, is too powerful in the game. It's like, no, that's not canon. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's fucking stupid, okay? Yeah. Those guys don't even have a seat. They don't even have a high chair. They're not invited to the dinner. They're not at the meeting. I don't think that's what's going on here.
Keep saying it. Keep saying it so I can laugh at it. Like, don't stop saying it. Yeah. But no, I'm not going to take you seriously.
Yeah. They're a crowd. So, but yeah, I think the FGC has actually done a lot for the lore guys. I don't think the lore guys appreciate just how much we've done, because a lot of the cheap stuff you have to deal with is not nearly as bad as it used to be. I feel like fighting games are the easiest they've ever been because of us, because of what we found out and what we've tested and what we've uploaded. I feel like fighting games have been more accessible. Some of the things I don't like about Injustice are because they're kind of like turning more towards the casual side. So, yeah. But I mean, like I said, I don't think that was his question either. So those are both my answers. So whichever one he meant, those are both my. Maybe he meant something in the middle that I wasn't able to identify. But those are generally how I feel about both topics.
And dude, those were just answered amazingly.
Oh,
like,
thank you, sir.
Come on, man. Like, if you can't find an answer in there, then, well, I mean, you can come back next week and we'll try again. But boy, I don't know how you can get much better. Like it's either one of the two. It's because it's not the lore guys. That's not going to be it. Even though it's really funny, and I like that one, and it also plays really well into the next question, because this one is my favorite. This is my favorite of the new ones we got. This comes from Downforality. He's a good guy.
Yeah, nice guy.
He asks, will we ever truly discover what Paolo's vision is?
No, I don't think we will. Because I think Paolo's vision is not Paolo's vision at all. I think Paolo's vision is a complete lie. And I mean that sincerely. I honestly think like Paolo's vision is basically a directive list from Ed Boon. Get rid of dash cancels. I don't think that was Paolo's vision. But I think Ed Boon was like, Paolo, I need you to fucking make the game look less weird and clanky. So get rid of all the random ass dash canceling, all the animation canceling. Get rid of that shit. And then he comes up with the run input. Then he comes up with 50/50s to make mix-ups look more visually appealing. That's Paulo's vision. At least that's part of it. There's some shit I'll never know, like why he fucking buffs Bane. I don't know where that comes in. So yeah, the answer is no, because I think at least partially Paulo's vision does not. Paulo's vision, it doesn't exist. It's not a thing.
I would give someone's left nut to be able to ask, who had a problem with dash blocking? Where did this come from?
It was probably Warner Brothers. It's like, why are they moving so weirdly? That's probably what happened. Some fat dude in a suit was like, Ed, why are they moving like that? It looks weird. Why did he jab him 50 times in the air? And Ed Boon's like, I'll get right on
you
it.
already messed up, dude. They wouldn't say jab.
Yeah, that's right. They would not say
They don't know. They don't know anything that advanced. They don't get that macromanaging about that end of development. If it's about fucking money. Yeah, if it's about money, if it's about, why don't we fucking spend this money on, fucking something that's making money over at EA? Like, they're gonna do that shit all day. Jabs out of the air, they don't even know what you just said. They're gonna look at you like you're a moron, even though they're obviously the fucking moron, because they don't know shit about their own fucking video games they paid for and they're paying to make. Like, yeah, we don't care. That's cool. Fucking, let's talk about... Fucking, hey, how many fucking more loot crates can we put in the game, guys?
Yeah. No, I agree. They're probably like, we want to make it an esports, put more esports inside it, and that's probably what happened next. Ed Boon had to
Can you guys get more esports in here? That's what makes it so interesting, though. That's why I'm giving someone's left nut, because it came from somewhere, and I don't think it was Warner Brothers. It could have been Ed. It could have been Paolo. It could have been someone else. It could have been fucking 16-bit. We'll never know. I want to know. Maybe someday we'll know.
I honestly think, like, Paolo's vision is a list of things that, and also, I'm not going to put Ed Boon on blast. I think Ed Boon's like, listen, the next game has to meet these, the people producing the game, the people funding it want to see these things, and I need you to make these work with gameplay. Like it or don't like it, make it as cool as you can, do your best. And I, honest to God, think that's the foundation of Paolo's vision. I don't think it's a matter. I don't think he's like an artiste and he wants to fucking like do all these balance changes because he feels like Green Lantern shouldn't have damage, or no, maybe he should have damage. Like, I don't think it's like that at all. Like, honest to God, I do think Warner Brothers made Aquaman buff on purpose. I think they made him swole, because they're trying to push the character.
That's definitely a thing. Like the place where Warner Brothers does come in and rear their ugly head is, hey guys, you got to put Cyborg in there. Like. That's the part where fucking NetherRealm comes in. I mean, Warner Brothers comes in. Hey guys, Deadshot, help, please. The DCEU needs it, guys. Can you please help us out? And boy, it's like, I don't know what you guys want us to do. Like, we can put these movie skins in the game, but you're on your own here with this shit. You guys have fucking... Boy. But that's the thing, though. Like, Warner Brothers doesn't get that, because if they did get that, they would make their movies better. But they don't. So they're like, listen, this is what's going to help. Put Superman and Wonder Woman and Batman and Flash skins in the game from the movie. Boom. All right, Warner Brothers. We got you. It'll be cool. Boy, speaking of that, you saw that the new armor they're gonna put up for the new Super Edition, the final edition.
No, I didn't.
I'm looking forward to some of that gear. You didn't see that? It was the Wonder Woman shit. I don't even remember what it was called. Demigod, maybe. It looked really good. Huh. It also looked good because it didn't make her look that much like Wonder Woman. Which, I'm sorry, I'm not that wowed with Wonder Woman's general design.
I think it's okay. I think it's a huge improvement, and I like enough to use the character. Like,
well, which design are you talking about?
The Injustice 2. Vanilla. Just...
Is she wearing pants in that one or no? I can't remember.
I can't remember either, but I remember in my version of the game, I think initially, no, she's not wearing pants. I think her base design does not have pants. I think. Injustice
1, not Inside Me, her Vanilla was wearing pants, I think.
Injustice 1 for sure she had pants.
It's very confusing. Whatever. The fucking the new gear they put up, the new gear set for her with the thing that's going up on the 27th, maybe? That final edition, the Super Edition, whatever it's called, the complete edition. It looks good. I think it was called Demigod.
I'm having trouble finding it. Okay, I think I found it. Yeah. Okay, yeah, it looks okay. They got the NetherRealm shoulder pads. Yeah, it's not bad.
And it makes me interested to see what they've got for other characters.
Yeah.
I hope they have some good shit, and especially since this is like, you know, the farewell patch to the game, like the farewell edition, to send off. Like, I've heard things about, you know, new gear, new shaders. Like, I hope all that shit is legit and it's good. They're also raising the level caps. I heard that too.
That could be interesting. Man, it's funny. I actually just recently played Injustice with Cyborg, and it was fun. I think it's really fun. I still think it's like the best NetherRealm game ever made. Injustice 2, I think it's so strong. I have big problems with it, but it's not like MKX where I'm like, I don't even want to play this because I just disagree with what this game's about. No, Injustice is just a really good game with some big flaws. That's okay. I have no problem with that.
I agree, absolutely. It's just great game with big flaws.
What's up?
No, I'm underscoring what you said. Great game, giant flaws.
Yeah, and the only reason why I don't play it more is because I'm playing Tekken and DBZ, and sometimes Marvel. That's the only reason I don't play the game. There's no other. Otherwise, I'd still be all over that shit. I think it's a fun game. Man, DBZ is so fucking good. Like, one day, I'll say more about that, because I know we're running out of time here, but man, that is an interesting game. And if people are scared of not playing it because they haven't watched the show, they're half right. Yes, if you don't know anything about Dragon Ball, don't buy the game. You're completely missing the point of the game. Like, for me, this game is a dream come true. I never thought I'd be able to play as Android 16 in like a high-level fighting game. It is a definite dream come true. But thankfully, they've made something called DBZ Abridged, so you can know almost everything there is to know about Dragon Ball in less than 10 hours. I did the math. It's over 70 hours of footage compressed into 10. If you can watch 6 hours of that, watch it. Go buy Dragon Ball Z and play one of the best games on the market right now. Please. And that's not just our audience. That's you too, Django. Like, I implore you. Like, I tried to get Cyborg. I tried so hard to make Cyborg watch Abridged. And he did watch, to his credit, he did watch the first season, but I kept trying to tell him, like, it takes like 3 hours for it to get really good. The first couple of hours are just not that strong, but it gets way better. It's honestly like one of the best things on the internet. And the characters are the same. You will learn everything you need to know about Dragon Ball. But people don't watch what they don't want to watch. And I have to concede there's just nothing I can do about that. But the game is really good. And if you know what the lore, it is so fun and rewarding.
I'm famously not a fan of anime. It's a problem. It's a meta. It works against me. Dragon Ball is so crossover-y, though. Like, it's so prominent everywhere outside of anime. Like, it's bigger than anime.
There's no cat girls.
It's not just anime. So like, I've considered watching the abridged stuff. I've heard good stuff. I'm still hearing good stuff. And I probably will, just because, like, what the fuck else am I doing with my life? I might as well just fucking watch some Dragon Ball Abridged.
I honest to God think you'll enjoy it. I mean, if you watch it and you don't enjoy it, well, at least you get to play the game now. But I honest to God think once you get to... Shadowloo says the turning point is Nappa in the Sand Saga. I mean, Nappa's funny, but for me, it's when Nail and Guru show up. Like, that's when it gets really good, in my opinion. And the Android Saga...
You realize I don't know any of these words you're saying.
That's what I'm trying to change. I'm making a pitch.
I heard Napo. I heard I don't know what the other thing was. Like, just listen. So, let me do it. Let me do it. And when it happens, I'll have done it, and then I'll be able to talk about Napo with you.
I will be extremely happy if you watch a bridge. Like, I will give you all the monies in the Nethercast.
Nethercast money. Abridged is... I'm really glad that exists. That exists for people like me, and I'm probably going to check it out.
It's not just a parody. It's the show. It's the same story.
No,
same
I know.
Characters, so, like... I
know. I'm going to get in it. I'm going to get at it. That sounds... Like I said, that's for me. That stuff is good.
I'm excited.
Especially in, like, 2018. It's fucking 2018 now. Like, give me the Cliff's Notes version. Give me, like, a good Cliff's Notes version. You can do that with a fucking lot of shit. There's really good... similar things for Batman the Animated Series and for X-Men Animated Series in the 90s and all that shit. Like, throw Dragon Ball in there. Come on. We can do it. That was a good question. What was the question? Paolo's Vision.
Yes, Paolo's Vision.
hopefully he has one. If not, maybe NRS as a whole has one. Injustice is a really good game with some problems the size of like an Aquaman and a Deadshot and that kind of stuff. Speaking of which, I had this fucking quick side note. I had a vision of a Mortal Kombat 11 Reiko playing similarly to an Aquaman.
Okay, yeah.
With a big fucking like hammer shit instead of the fork, the big fork. I would kind of like to see that shit happen. I think that would be really sick.
I can see it'd be fun to see, you know, Reiko as like a cheap defensive character. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
And I feel like that's what that dude's about, man. I feel like that guy, like that's the fun part of his differential from Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn is just like, fuck everything. I'm this God of War type dude.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna fucking go in swinging dicks. Like that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, he's sort
I'm
of
gonna
like
hit you really hard.
Like a meat crazy war horny asshole. That's Shao Kahn. Reiko is all about brawn, confidence, and like etiquette. Like that's Reiko. Like he's not gonna.
But he's also he does have strategy though. Like he governance is part of the fucking situation. Even what happened in the comic too. Like he doesn't just want to be a conqueror and fucking whatever. Like he wants to fucking rule the country. He wants to rule Outworld. He wants to whatever. He wants to. There was the fucking Reiko Accord. Somebody at some point, it's now Mortal Kombat lore, made a deal involving Reiko. Dude is a little more diplomatic than a Shao Kahn. I think that's what's interesting. A diplomatic version of Shao Kahn sounds interesting to me.
I mean, I'm not the biggest Reiko fan. I think most of that has to do with his design, though. I think his design is one of the reasons why I've never gotten super attached to him. But I like the idea of Reiko. I wouldn't mind seeing him back, but where were we talking about? How do we get on Reiko?
Paolo's vision.
Paolo's vision.
That's what it was.
Yeah. Oh, your dream. You had a dream about Aquaman Reiko. Yeah, okay.
I didn't have a dream. That sounds way sexier than it should be. But actually, that should be. Aquaman's also just a good pairing in terms of sexiness. Dude's just walking up. He's wearing pants. He's already an improvement over Shao Kahn. He's got his pants on. But beyond that, he is just like, fucking look at my abs and look at my fucking voice and look at my fucking giant melee weapon. I'm in there. Like he's talking like he's the realest of real shit. I want to see it.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. I wouldn't be against it. I wouldn't want him to be like a generic rushdown character because I think there's already. Oh, I want to be careful what I say here because I don't really want any heavy defensive zoners or whatever in Mortal Kombat. I don't think they work. I think the Mortal Kombat archetypes have been established. I don't want them to get too experimental anymore. But I wouldn't mind him. I definitely don't want him to be like a dumb brawler for sure. He needs to be a very sophisticated
What is
character.
Aquaman? Like, what is that play type?
He is this weird, like, fucking dog hybrid of a pressure character and a zoner. That's how I define him. And it doesn't make... Why would a zoning character... Why would this mid-range, like, strike character have some of the best pressure in the game and have a homing ground move? It doesn't make any sense to me, but that's my opinion.
I feel like that's an interesting pull, like, designing around lore. Like, going to the lore guys and be like, listen, how should this guy play? Well, he's got this sick-ass trident that is supposedly sick-ass. Like, I think about Thor and how I would design him in a lore capacity. If I was like if Thor was going to be a NetherRealm character, how would you do it? Like, fucking hitting you with Mjolnir should be some crazy pressure that's happening to you. You shouldn't want to get in that range, similar to how I think Aquaman feels. And Thor also should be able to fucking whack you from nearly anywhere at any time with the hammer or a lightning bolt or something like that. So it's I think Thor would be a lot like Aquaman, actually.
Yeah, maybe.
In NetherRealm design, like he wouldn't teleport. Like that's not really Thor's deal as much either. Like Aquaman.
He would fly though, so you gotta get the flight in there. That'd probably be the biggest difference.
He would. That would be a biggest difference. But with Thor, like that also comes off across like he doesn't go at it like Superman. It's more like Shazam in Injustice 1.
Okay, yeah.
I think he would use the flight as like big lunging attacks to pounce on you and that kind of shit, and continue pressure at close range. And I would like to see Reiko do something similar. But I like that thing about Aquaman, whatever it is. Even though, listen, fucking Aquaman is Aquaman. He's a dickhead. But I do like the Injustice thing where he's like, come here, like just come over here. I'm gonna wait. And that's like, whenever you're chasing Aquaman is when you don't want to be playing the video game. That's when shit happens. That's when shit goes sideways. I can see something like that being fun for Reiko too. Like, it is the opposite of Shao Kahn in that way, where he is still like, you don't want to get close to him, but if he's making you come to him, like he's making you come to him, it's interesting, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That is how
I'm talking about Reiko way too much. That's another good point. I don't want to play Aquaman either.
Yeah.
Here, let's move on. We only got a couple here left. MK Trilogy Chameleon says, highly unlikely, but would you like to see a DCU Online? Okay, so would you like to see an MMO type game that's set in the Mortal Kombat universe where you can create your character and predetermined movesets and interact with friends and encounter popular and obscure characters while exploring the different realms? I think it would do well. I think it could do well, especially if they don't do it the way that DCU Online did, because that game kind of, like, I mean, that's the case with a lot of MMOs, but they seem to kind of like peter out eventually. But that game, like, they really tried to squeeze it for all it was worth, because they put it on PlayStation. They put it on the PS4 as a free-to-play thing, and it still, like, eventually died. I think it's gone now. And I didn't enjoy DCU Online, like the gameplay. I wasn't that into it. There's been other ones though that I like, and I think that they could do one with Mortal Kombat, actually. That kind of MMO type thing. Tim, what do you think?
I think it could do well. It's like Factions, where it's like an MMO, but you can be Special Forces or Lin Kuei or Brotherhood of the Shadow. I think it could be cool. Would I play it? Probably not. To me, the whole appeal of Mortal Kombat is the characters. So if they create an MMO and I don't really have any connection to the cast, I don't know if I'm into that. Like, the whole point is being Sub-Zero. I don't want to be the dude who works for Sub-Zero. I don't think that's as interesting. So I think it would be awesome. I think it would look really good. And I think they got the brains to do it. I just don't know if something like that's for me. Or for me, like I'm more into like Diablo 2 was like the closest thing I ever got to an MMO. And even though I think that game looks cool, the reason I played it had nothing to do with the aesthetics. I just like clicking on things till they die. So even though that game is about this mortal battle between Earth, Heaven, and Hell, you can strip all that shit away, honestly. That is not why I played that game. I liked clicking on things until the guy who I clicked for got stronger, and I got a skill tree that helped me click. So other things happen when I click. Like, that brain response is why I do that. I just don't think a modern MMO would be for me. But I think it'd be cool, though.
Which makes me think, because I'm a fucking Marvel shill and fanboy. He said DCU Online, but I would be like, well, what about Marvel Heroes, which recently had like all the exact same triumphs and tribulations and struggles, and it also petered out and recently got moved to consoles, went free to play, and then it died. It's gone. But what Marvel Heroes did was obviously let you play as the characters. So then you have like an Injustice situation where you have a bunch of different versions of each character running around. But you know, you play with like the alternate realities and universes of these different characters running around, so it's not just there's a little bit of explanation for it, but the gameplay of Marvel Heroes was also pulled from the Marvel Legends games, which have always been very famously Diablo inspired and very Diablo heavy. So you are running around as whatever superhero that is in question, and you are clicking things till they die.
That could be cool,
and that was fun to me. Like I enjoyed it. It would especially be fun if you got to do the old, what was it? There was X-Men Legends and then Marvel Ultimate Alliance, like those games where you got to make your party before you went on a mission. So you had like 4 characters that you were all running around with at the same time, and you could swap independently which one you were in control of. But if you had like, you know, your Sub-Zero and your Scorpion and your fucking Katana and your Kotal Khan, like that would be a fun thing. I think that would be fun. I think that would be a good call, in my opinion.
I mean, it has to be good enough for me to actually leave, like, put down my controller and stop playing MK11, though. That would have to be at least that good. And I'm optimistic for MK11. I talk a lot of smack about MK. One day, I just need to turn on Audacity and just talk 30 minutes about how I feel about MKX. Because I give a lot of mixed messages on that game, but there are things I do like about that game. But MK11, I think, is going to be a much better game. And an MMO has to be, yeah.
No, I was gonna say like that sounds like a thing we should do on the Warrior Shrine. We can do like a fucking post-mortem for MKX.
Yeah,
Would
like
probably
a
be a good
couch
idea.
session and just kind of talk about our feelings on the game. Like that might be a good next episode. I think we can get that out of the way.
And it's beneficial too, man. Like put out there in the world in words what you don't want, and that greatly increases the odds of someone somewhere hearing something and being like, yeah, maybe. Which I mean, what else can you ask for?
Sure.
Okay, answer that guy.
Good question though.
It was a good question. I like that one. And sometimes, there are video games out there that aren't fighting games. We can talk about those from time to time. That's cool.
I wonder. I mean, I would throw that question to the Nethercast guys if you haven't already. I haven't heard the most recent episode, but they may want to chime in on that as well.
Yeah, that sounds like that would be much more up their alley than it is ours, because it is less gameplay oriented, like Tim said, and it's fun clicking on shit till it dies. And you would get to do all the fun shit of like running around these different universes and worlds and realms. And boy, does Mortal Kombat need that shit. It needs some world building in a big bad way, especially after the reboot. I want to know what's going on in Chaos Realm. What the fuck? And for fuck's sake, if they have... Nope, not gonna talk about it. We can talk about that. We can talk about that and other lore-related shit. I like Chaos Realm a lot, but I got fucking problems. I got some shit I want solved and fixed because I like it. But right now we have questions. Kenshi Master asks, would you rather have leggy lag? I like leggy lag. Would you rather have heavy lag forever or lose every match you play online? And I'm glad he goes on to say it was funny. I thought it was funny, and I thought about it.
That's tough.
You want to answer it? You can answer it.
Well, I have questions. How heavy is heavy lag?
It's very heavy.
But is it how much heavier than MK9? Because MK9 was heavy lag in my opinion.
It was okay. Let's just say it was Mortal Kombat 9, but like that was the quality ceiling. It's never going to get better than your normal quality match in MK9.
I would say if it's not worse than MK9, then yes, I would go heavy lag. Because MK9 online, as shitty as it was still competitive. You could build strategies around the lag. So it's still a competent fighting game. It's a different game. I have a feeling though he's talking about really fucking heavy lag though. I have a feeling he's talking about some like underwater get blown up by like sandballs kind of shit.
I think it's more of a philosophical thing. Like, would you rather not play the fucking video game but make some guesses and sometimes get a win, or just never win? Like, would you rather play the video game or would you rather win? That's how I am interpreting the question.
Then I would say I would never win then. Because at least I can play the game, I can learn the game, I can get good at the game. And as long as I can meet all those criteria, it doesn't really matter if I win the match or not. Because, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of questions here. I have so many questions. But just assuming he means that I just don't get the win, then I would say I lose every match. Because at least because my goal is to become a better fighting game player. The wins are ultimately just proof of that. I'm trying to prove that to myself by winning. But as long as I can improve and grow, I will remove the lag. And as long as I can play online and improve, I will forfeit all my wins.
I would agree. I would agree completely with that. Fortunately, he follows up. He says, also a more serious question. Since we now have improved netcode for some time, what other things do you think are an absolute must to have in addition to... Wait. Since we now have improved netcode for some time, what other things do you think are an absolute must-have addition for future Mortal Kombat / NRS games? Okay, so this is an interesting question. Because now that we do have competent netcode, and I mean, I am not taking that for granted yet. Because we've still never had a Mortal Kombat that launched with good netcode. It's not happened yet. This is going to be our first. Hopefully, if everything goes, logically. So that's still, I'm still, being like, listen, they're doing so fucking good. Pat the baby on the back. It's walking. But reaching ahead, now that online is an option regularly, ideally going forward, what are some other areas they could work on that would bring them up to par with other fighting games in some different ways, but like things that we have to have, like things that are necessary, like fundamental improvements. I think there's still shit that they could learn from Killer Instinct. Shit like Shadows, I think, is really interesting. the way that game works competitively online, the online environments, I think is still interesting. The way that game does almost everything it does online is still really good.
Ranked has done really well in KI. I like the idea that it puts you in like a class based on how good you are. I like the fact that you're not allowed to fight good players until you like rank for it. Like that's tight.
It is like, boy, who wouldn't? And that's probably the biggest next thing is like, what the fuck is going on with your matchmaking over there in NetherRealm? Like, yeah, something that did put you in a rank or class or whatever you want to call it that's competitive for you is a fucking super smart idea. And doing the thing where like once you fire up the game and you jump online, you got to do like a 5-match seed for it to place you in places, and then it knows where you are and you can rank up from there. Like, why isn't this happening? Why isn't this a thing? Why, like, even Tekken, I think Tekken has some of this shit too. Like, what is going on? But like I said, it's fucking baby steps. NetherRealm just learned how to wipe their ass basically with the netcode thing. So I think stuff like this is the next step for them. Is the next mandatory step for them too.
That's a good answer. I agree with all of it. But if I had to throw my own answer out there, the two things I'd want to see now that we've actually got the netcode working, which were impossible with bad netcode, are tournament mode and 5v5 mode. Absolutely. That has to be in MK11. I mean, that just, man, I have this vision of just having like this annual, like if the Nethercast is able to keep the momentum going, then we could do like this like annual like tournament where all our fans and ourselves included, we all fucking like randomly get matched up and seeded, and like the winner gets some cool shit unless one of us win, and then we just move on with our lives. But if one of our fans win, they can get some really nice shit. That sounds fun to me. 5v5 mode, we could play like different like communities, different YouTubers, and like, you know, stream it. That would be sick. And like we could choose like, okay, we're gonna put you on point, Django, and Redman, you're gonna be our anchor, and Smoke Man, you're our vanguard. You're gonna be second to last. Like that would be so tight to me. And
it does, yeah, see, that stuff does sound good, and that sounds like those are ideas. Those take ideas, people. Ideas are very, very, very valuable, and NetherRealm's starting to pick up on, you know, the quality of ideas and how valuable they are. I hope this stuff comes up. Those are good ideas. I would play all that shit. That sounds hella fun.
Yeah, some of it's in Tekken. Tournament mode's in Tekken, but I think the way they did it was kind of whack. But the reason why I bring that up with Kenshi Master's question is because if they had done that before, it would have been shitty. Because what's the point of a tournament mode when all the matches are laggy? You know, who cares who got first place? So, yeah. That's true. Good question, dude.
It is. It's a really good question, and I think those things are like, those are the next step. This is what you need to do next. Is that what they will do? Who fucking knows? But it's what they need to do. Yeah, good question. Last question from Lando Mac. Man, Lando Mac, I like you. And you have a really good avatar. You got Skeletor in your fucking avatar box. Skeletor is so sick. Fucking Skeletor. I need more Skeletors everywhere in life. Lando Mac asks, Django, to me specifically, ooh. That's, whoa. Django, what got you into Mortal Kombat? If this has been talked about before, my bad, bro. I don't know if it has.
I don't think it has, no. I don't know how you got into Mortal Kombat.
Do I know how I got into Mortal Kombat? I think it was, I had some older friends, a couple older family members whenever I was a very young Django. Probably too young to be playing Mortal Kombat, honestly, but whatever. That's what happens. And it did something for, you know, my brain that pulled me in for whatever reason that, like, I played Street Fighter. I like Street Fighter. It was fine. But I liked the edgelord vibe of Mortal Kombat because that's what the 90s was all about, man. And it wasn't the violence or that stuff necessarily. The graphics looked cool. That always was like, there's every other video game you can play, and I played a lot of them. And then there was Mortal Kombat just in terms of that alone. Like, wow, these guys, like, this is something different, because, you know, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. But then once you get into it, it's like fucking superhero shit, which I was all about. I don't have a memory really where I wasn't a retarded superhero fanboy of like X-Men and then Batman and then, you know, then Ninja Turtles and He-Man, all that shit. Like, I was always all over that shit, and Mortal Kombat had that in there. So it was like, it had all that shit, and then it had that edgy 90s, like, you know, pseudo horror vibe going on and creepy shit, and I really liked that shit too. I read my fair share of Goosebumps books, let me tell you. It was
good.
some of them are good. There was good shit, and I like that shit in the '90s. I liked that, really just like that, whatever that trend was that was going on of like faux occult bullshit. I kind of dug some of it to an extent. I never went full like, you know, early Manson goth lord or beyond. I never bought the makeup. I mean, I was really young too, but still. I still dug all of that, like whatever that was. My brain hadn't realized it was like, you know, this is what's trendy right now. This is what's cool. This is what's blowing up, and it's scaring parents. Fucking Ozzy Osbourne was scaring parents, and then Marilyn Manson was scaring parents, and Mortal Kombat was scaring parents. I liked all that shit, but I didn't get the through lines. I was just like, whatever, this stuff's just cool because, you know, just edgy bullshit for whatever that meant at the time. That's what got me into Mortal Kombat. And that coupled with the superhero shit. It wasn't like the gore shit. It definitely wasn't fighting game gameplay shit. That was not even remotely on my radar. It was the characters, and it was the setting, it was the lore, it was the music, it was the look of everything. It was all those things. I started out as a fucking lore guy, which is why I have the strong feelings I have about lore these days. It's a lot of times it feels like that thing from Avengers 1, you know, those memes you see of Mark Ruffalo turning around. That's my secret, Captain. I love the lore. Like that was that's the hidden Django shit. That's why I'm so kind of bitter and prickly about it these days, is because it's like fucking I spent so many years going down that road and being all about that from Mortal Kombat, and I didn't like where that led me after fucking 12 years, 15 years maybe of my Mortal Kombat career was just lore based, and characters and, you know, all that shit, like finding all the running around playing conquest mode with the rest of you guys. I was there. I did it too. But that's the shit that got me in there. Only recently have I gone more gameplay oriented, and I've never been happier. I still like the characters, obviously. I'm still fucking Sub-Zero all day. He's gonna be my main, probably, unless there's another character that comes along like Takeda, which has never happened in the history of the franchise. Has there been a new character that eclipses Sub-Zero? I'm looking forward to seeing how they surprise me next. But that's where I am now. Before then, that's where I came from. I was definitely the Mark Ruffalo. I loved the lore. That was my deal. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, it's pretty comprehensive, and I relate to a lot of that. My beginnings were in the lore. It wasn't really until like 2009 where I was like, you know, the lore is great, but I mostly just wanted the competitive stuff. And then even then, it was only like a spark. Like I still was like, when they announced MK11, it's like, oh man, I'm gonna get to see Smoke and Jade, and then yeah, I played
MK11. You mean Mortal Kombat 9?
Yeah, exactly. MK 2011. Yeah.
Yes.
The story mode was so shitty. It's like, I don't even care anymore. I'm just here for the gameplay and the costumes, and that's where I've been ever since. That was sort of my station. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is really similar to me. Like, especially when that game came out, I was like, listen, this is better than Armageddon, and this is better than Mortal Kombat versus DC, which I was not into. I didn't. MK versus DC is the only Mortal Kombat game I didn't buy, which I don't regret now, because it's like, even if nothing else, why, like, it's not worth a $60 price tag in my opinion in terms of content. But quality was also not gross. But Mortal Kombat 9 came out, and I was like, oh, this looks cool, and it's 2D again. Oh shit, I'm back in there, and then that's what sparked me into competitive gameplay, the interest there. And it, you know, like I said, I haven't. It's given me something to hook into with Mortal Kombat whenever lore is a roller coaster ride, to say the least. Gameplay is fun, and playing online is fun, and playing online competently is fun. And I'm glad I made the switch, but I still care about the lore. If they fuck it up, I'm gonna get salty, and they're probably gonna fuck it up, and I'm probably gonna get salty, which is why I'm glad that I can go back to gameplay at the end of the day and be like, listen, this is cool. This makes sense. We can figure it out for better or for worse.
Yeah, it's also character specific too. Like, there's some. I care about the lore within the context of like 4 or 5 characters I hold really close to my heart. For the rest of it, I can take it or leave it. Like, I don't really care about fucking Stryker's lore. I like Stryker. Stryker's cool, but I don't care about his lore. I don't care what he put on the cap. That doesn't matter to me.
The cap. Man, if he was the MKX, that cap would have been the fucking variation thing. Fucking sideways would be one variation, backwards would be another variation.
Even though I love variations, that would be so shitty. The cap should be in all variations, and putting it backwards should be like angry stance. Like that's when he's fucking real. Like that would be cool. Like he moves the cap backwards when he's getting serious, and then you have like a damage boost for like 10 seconds.
I agree.
That would be tight.
That'd be sick. He fucking fires the gun in the air, he pops a few off, he's like, look, fucking listen to me, I'm the law. I'm the law.
That would be
This
sick,
is what's going on.
So the fucking striker just starts firing off in the air, he's like, am I the only one who cares about the rules here? Like, that would be sick, dude. That would be so tight.
That would be sick. See, fucking... Didn't come up with this shit for free. It's not that hard. You just sit down and think about it for a minute. And it's like, hey, you know what would be a good idea? Not what they're doing. it's like, okay, listen. It's gonna be good. Mortal Kombat 11 is gonna be great. I'm excited. Fucking smoke lore. I'm looking forward to it. Better happen. God, I need some smoke lore in my life.
Yeah, I miss smoke. I was okay with him not being MKX because I got my fill with MK9, but
it's time.
Yeah, it's fucking time, dude. Like
Thomas Verbata, like, dude, you have a name. You have a thing that you are now, and a Ninra. You have a reason for being weird and smoky. Just fucking do what you did before with the cyborg. Shake off this weird Revenant bullshit. Just do the smoke shake. You can shake it off, and you know, then figure out your life, what you want to be from then on. Do you want to be the Ninra? Do you want to be a dude who's in a Ninra? Both. You can be bi if you want. That's very cool. Be both. But you've just got a lot of shit you can do. Do some of it.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually do the bi thing. Like, the Sub-Zero Senpai shit was coming off real strong in MK9, so...
I'm, listen, if that's the way Thomas Verbata wants to go about things, then do it, man. Just do it. Just do something.
Just be in the game. I don't care how bi you are. Just be in the game.
And wear that sick-ass mask, god damn it, from not the alt, the default smoke mask from Mortal Kombat 9. I was a big fan of.
What is... I like it, too, but what is that? Like...
I don't know what's fucking going on. I like it.
It's a big silver thingy. I don't know. I mean, don't tell the Nethercasters I said this, although I think they know. I love Smoke's primary in MK9. I think it's sick.
Oh yeah, that was
like shitty hair and all. I love it. Like, although I like the comic hair better, man. It's the long fucking like David Bowie thing going on. Like that was even sicker, but I'll take either.
Yeah, that has to come back. If you bring Smoke back, like, just give him the fucking long, cool, like, anime white hair or whatever. Just make it fucking cool, man. Make it sick. It doesn't have to float. It doesn't have to levitate.
I see what they're going for, but yeah, too much clipping. Yeah, so
like, even if it's just like fucking Alucard or some shit, it's just long and awesome and anime and white.
That would be just badass. Like that.
It would be.
Honestly, is what I think they were going for, but I don't know, man.
Listen, they have the opportunity with MK11. Just take these. It's already there.
Oh,
just
crazy if he's on the leak list. I can't remember if Smoke's on the leak list or not.
I don't fucking care about leak lists. They're not real yet. They're gonna be real, but the ones I've read sound a little fakey to me.
Yeah,
but they're gonna happen. It's gonna get leaked. It's gonna leak fully, and before too long.
God, the marketing for Mortal Kombat is always so shitty. I'm not looking forward to that. But I mean, it's done. It's happening. Hopefully, Soul Calibur 6 will be so good that I don't care about the shitty marketing. That's what I'm hoping for. So we'll see.
I think that wraps it up. Was there anything else that you need to add?
No, that covers everything.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you guys next time.
Take care.
No.
Fucking Monster Hunter, and that game's a fucking bill. Monster Hunter World is the most overrated piece of ass I've ever seen. Change my mind, internet.